The bye week is here, and the Cowboys are 5-1 and 3 games atop anybody else in the NFC East division as we break things down here on Special Edition from the Star in Frisco. Alongside former Cowboys Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, the legend himself, down on the far end. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and gentlemen, we've got plenty to talk about the first 6 weeks of the year, and then the Cowboys will take a week off. They'll take on the Minnesota Vikings on Halloween night, which will be interesting in its own right. But we've got a little bit of a breather, so let's take a relaxed approach to this episode with a very intense question to start things off. Is this Cowboys offense, which right now leads the NFL in yardage and in scoring, the best offense in the NFL?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yes, they are the best team, or the best offense in the league right now. And simply, I put them ahead of Kansas City simply because their offensive line is playing better. We don't even have all of our pieces back on the offensive line, and yet we're still being effective. We're having effective tight end play. We have a double-headed monster in the backfield. We have an amazing quarterback, and all of our guys on the outside are making plays, even all the way down to the number 4 guy. So I always have to say yes as of right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, when you have a coordinator like Kellen Moore, who's in his bag right now, and you got an extension of the coaching staff at your quarterback in Dak Prescott, and weapons on top of weapons on top of weapons, it's hard to slow that thing down. So to me, I got to say this offense got to be the best in the league right now.
You know what? I'm not going to agree with these guys, man. I don't think they're the best offense in the league at this point. I think they're the only offense that counts here with the Dallas Cowboys. They're doing what they got to do. They got to make things fool y'all anyway. But anyway, they are the greatest offense at this point.
That's a great way to put it, because the Cowboys are doing everything offensively, and it's been a pick your poison all season long. If you shut down Ezekiel Elliott, you've got CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper or Dalton Schultz. I mean, the list goes on, but there's one guy who touches the ball every single play, and that's Dak Prescott. NFC reigning offensive player of the week, put up 445 yards, the most ever against a Bill Belichick-led defense. What have you seen from Dak Prescott, and how much did his performance against the Patriots impress you?
I think he's continuing to improve. As well as he's played, as statistically amazing as he is right now, I think there's still aspect of his games that he's learning every single week. I think he's learning how to loft the ball in certain screen routes. Obviously, he's paid for those in some of the past. His decision-making has improved drastically. And I think the most important thing is he's allowing his playmakers to make plays. As you see right there, you got Schultz getting the rock. I mean, those guys are taking care of the ball, and they're making plays for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another clutch performance from Dak Prescott in this Cowboys offense. I mean, look, was it perfect? No, there was 2 turnovers. There was a lot of penalties out there. But that's what you love about his performance and this Cowboys. I mean, they scratch, they claw, they fight to find any type of way to get a victory. And Nate, to me, those are the teams that come playoff time, they perform well.
I think he's living in the mojo moment. I really do, because week 1, 51 passes, 56 passes, barely lost. This week here, this past week, 51 passes, won. So that's telling you that he's learning how to take advantage of the situations that are presented to him. He's the mechanic. He'll fix anything.
Mojo moment, of course, a reference back to training camp, one of the drills that Mike McCarthy would run just to prove that there's some intense moments in a game that you have to step up. And Dak Prescott certainly did that. On the final play of the game, he was a little bit lame coming up. He got injured in that one, a calf strain that is optimistic moving forward for an organization as a whole. But how big of a loss would it be if Dak Prescott can't play against Minnesota?
That would be major. I think that's the one position that we don't have depth. From our perspective, that's the one question mark that we had. So that's something that we don't want to have to address. Should we have to, then Coach Kellen Moore, you better go get you one of them big old duffel bags, because we need you to get all up in that thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they're optimistic about it right now, and gladly so that bye week has come when it did. So it gave him extra time to rest. I'm sure the training staff will be living at his house 24/7 just to get him back on time, because we do not want to see a Cooper Rush outing against this Minnesota Vikings. So, Dak, please get back fast.
It's a perfect time for a bye week, and, of course, giving a little extra time for some rest for Dak Prescott following the injury, and we'll see what his status is moving forward. But it was a fantastic week for CeeDee Lamb. I mean, just with as much success as Dak Prescott had, you had some unsung heroes in that wide receiving core for the Cowboys. 9 receptions, 149 yards, including this 35-yard game winner for CeeDee Lamb, but also Cedric Wilson had a nice night.
Cedric Wilson made the play tonight. Obviously, with that catch right there, that was huge on 4th down. It allowed the drive to continue, allowed for him to go down there and get the victory. But to your point, CeeDee Lamb is balling. He's balling. He doesn't have to be the guy every week, and I think that's awesome for him. He's been a great compliment to Cooper and to this entire offense.
I think this is what makes this team so dangerous. I mean, the Patriots did a good job of slowing down Zeke and Pollard. J.C. Jackson did a great job of shadowing Amari Cooper out there. But you still got to deal with CeeDee Lamb, Ced Wilson, Schultz, Noah Brown. I mean, this team is loaded offensively, and it's going to give defensive coordinators nightmares going forward trying to game plan for this team.
You know, he's like Ced is like a guy coming off the bench. You're 6th or 7th guy. He just does what's necessary. He sees that he need to make a big catch, and that's what he did last week, man. Stay within your framework. Ced is out there for you.
And all of those guys, of course, led by Kellen Moore, like you guys mentioned early on. We'll talk more about the coaching staff coming up in a little bit. But when we come back on Special Edition, let's talk about the defense. Is Trayvon Diggs off to the best start ever in the NFL for a cornerback when we return?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the new Gym 7 scratch tickets. There's a Gym 7 scratch ticket for everyone, so play today.
It has been decades since the Cowboys have had a cornerback and a secondary having as much success as Trayvon Diggs and the current Dallas secondary have had through the first 6 games of the year. Welcome back into Special Edition here from the Star. And gentlemen, let's start with Trayvon Diggs. 7 interceptions in the first 6 games. He's had a pick in each of the first 6 games. He's been absolutely unstoppable. And, of course, he came up with a pick 6 in crunch time against the Patriots on Sunday.
Yeah, that was McNasty. This guy just keeps showing up and making plays. No matter where he's at on the field, he's in the hip pocket of their best, most dominant receiver. And that is an amazing feature to be able to have. He is also receiving a lot of help, right? He's becoming a really good product of Dan Quinn's system. They're playing a lot of man-to-man coverage right now. Their front 7 is getting home. These guys are adding a lot of pressure, not allowing these quarterbacks to set their feet, making them throw inerrant throws, and therefore throwing off the timing, giving him the availability to be aggressive because he has his safeties playing over the top just in case.
Yeah, this guy's playing at an all-pro, maybe even defensive player of the year type level right now. And what separates him from other defensive backs is his ability to track the ball in the air. I mean, we've seen it time and time again where DBs, especially on a deep pass, they start panicking. They start grabbing and holding and results in a penalty. But with this guy, when the ball's in the air, he turns into the wide receiver. He feels as though that ball is as much his as it is the wide receiver. So it allows him to make play after play after play. And he's one of the main reasons this defense turned from historically bad to one of the most respectable defenses in the league right now.
You know, I just can't believe in 1 year a guy could just make this type of jump. You know, you hear coaches say, hey, he's in that 2nd year jump when you're in training camp. But this guy has really done what it takes to make himself a force. And wow, my hat's off to him.
It's not really a jump. It's more of a leap. It's more of a rocket ship taking off more than anything. I mean, Trayvon Diggs has as many touchdowns as his wide receiver all-pro brother Stephon Diggs heading into Week 7 of the NFL season. So Trayvon Diggs has been fantastic, I should say. How about the pass rushers up front? Randy Gregory has definitely had a great year as well.
Yeah, Randy Gregory single-handedly enforced his will this last game. I think there was a play where they should have called holding and they didn't. So instead of getting mad and complaining about it, what did he do? He said, I'm about to be a grown man and I'm going to run through your face. All right, so when you have players on a defensive front that can create pressure like that without his comrade on the opposite end, I can only imagine how it's going to be when D-Law gets back.
Yeah, this guy right now, I mean, the sky's the limit for Randy Gregory. I mean, he has the size, the speed, the bendability, and definitely the strength, as we saw last week, to be a force at that defensive end position. And just like you said, once Tank Lawrence comes back from his injury, these two, they might be the best tandem as far as getting after the quarterback in the National Football League.
And what makes him so nice is his explosion. He got great hips, he got great hand placement, but he can bend either coming off the left side or the right side. He can bend his hips, he can bend his knees, and he can explode into the quarterback. And he made a hell of explosion during that past game.
He certainly adds that versatility to the defense, and a lot of credit definitely goes to Dan Quinn in that regard and the way he's been able to stress takeaways and be able to take the football away. 14 turnovers forced by the Cowboys through the first 6 games. Now, when we come back, we've given credit to Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn, but are we giving enough credit to Mike McCarthy? We talk coaching staff next.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.
It's tremendous answering the bell time and time again as we were, involved in those situations. So why they happen, how they happen, it's really irrelevant. It's most importantly is how you respond to it, and that adversity component that you just never get enough live work at. That's why I think winning overtime games, especially this time of year, really pay a lot of value to the development and growth of a football team. You need to learn how to win. You need to learn how to win consistently, and you have to win those kind of games. So, there'll be a lot to gain coming out of this victory.
Special thanks to Nationwide for our Mike McCarthy soundbite. You heard him kind of talking about the adversity that this Cowboys team went up against in New England. I mean, Bill Belichick on the other sideline, a ruckus Gillette Stadium. It was not an easy environment to play in, but nonetheless, the Cowboys were ready to play, were able to come out with an overtime win, and now at 5-1 heading into the bye week. When we take a step back and look at this Cowboys team, is Mike McCarthy getting enough credit for what this team has done so far?
No, but I mean that's the job that he signs up for. I mean the head coaches don't get a lot of credit unless you're Bill Belichick. His job is to coach the men that coach his players, and you can see a reflection of him through the success on the offensive side of the ball with Kellen Moore. You can see the success with Dan Quinn on defense, right? You saw Coach Fossil show up, even with Gifford showing up making a play. Those guys are the ones that are conducting all the leadership on this team, and he's doing a great job with it.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of turning this culture around on this team to a winning culture. I mean, he's done a great job of putting this coaching staff together to get the most out of his players. I mean, look, he went out there and got the special teams coordinator who's doing a great job with special teams. He's letting Kellen Moore and Dak, who have a special connection out there, he's letting them do their thing and work magic. Dan Quinn on this side has turned this defensive side of the ball around. So to me, Coach McCarthy, he's done a great job and deserves some credit for it.
You know what? At the end of the day, it's 2 things we judge our quarterbacks and our coaches on. That's wins and losses. He's 5-1. He's sitting pretty. He's going into the break. He gets some guys back. He's going to coach them guys y'all talking about. And yes, stand back. He's going to create some more mojo moments.
Why do you feel like Mike McCarthy doesn't get that same amount of praise that a guy like Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn would get? Because it really seems like you said, he's an overarching figure, but you have to be the one to give those guys at least the resources and the position to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's a cheerless job, I guess, in a sense, right? You don't really get a lot of the credit in that regard until you go to the Super Bowl, and then your name is the one that they're talking about. But I mean, the coordinators are the ones that are most known for having the greatest effect. But he's a background guy. He's perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, he's definitely a background guy, and it's like he's not really trying to overstep his boundaries. He's got the coordinators doing their job, and they're doing an amazing job. So why mess up that momentum right there? Keep it going with what you're doing. Stay in the background, and you'll get the credit once you win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And hey, he's won one already. Can he get to the point? Yeah. The Green Bay Packers in his second year in Green Bay were 13-3. His Cowboys are 5-1 in year number 2. When we come back, Barry Church hits the big board and breaks down some of the best defensive plays of the 2021 season.
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
Welcome back to a special edition here from the Star in Frisco as we roll along on this bye-week edition of the show. Barry Church, Kyle Yeoman's back with you. And, well, this Cowboys defense has been fantastic, and it's been a turnaround really since the 2020 season. How are some of these plays so important to the success of this Cowboys defense led by Dan Quinn?
Well, this Cowboys defense has been taking the ball away exceptionally well. And we got Trayvon Diggs on the other side who's been doing a great job of intercepting passes. But today I want to give a little love to his counterpart over here, Anthony Brown, who early in the season at Tampa Bay game, he struggled a little bit, but as the season progressed, his play has steadily improved. So I'm going to give you an example of that right here. As we have Anthony Brown at the corner spot on your right-hand side, he's doing an amazing job so far right here of disguising his defense. He makes it look like a zone. His vision is all on the quarterback, so the quarterback's thinking, all right, this is zone, I may be able to get a hitch out there. But as we let the play progress a little bit here, let's pause it right there. He switches it into a man look. Now his vision is all on the wide receiver right here, and he's able to break on anything the receiver does. So he does an amazing job of disguising the defense early. And as we run the play a little bit, let's pause it. Pause it right there. He did an amazing job of a T-step. I know he's kind of blurry right now. You might not be able to see it, but the T-step and the plant and drive portion of his defensive back drill right there is amazing. And as we run the play, does a great job of intercepting the pass, goes back all the way to the end zone. And that's what this team has been doing a great job of doing. They've been doing a great job of taking the ball away from the opposing teams and turning it into points. Whether they're scoring or whether they're giving it back to our offense, they've been doing a great job getting points for this offense and this team overall.
14 total takeaways for the Cowboys defensively. Through week 6 of last year, they had just 6. If that's telling you an improvement is there, then ultimately, yes, that is the case. Now, they've done it in a couple different ways. It's not just the interceptions from AB and from Trayvon Diggs. It's up front as well.
Yeah, it's done a great job. Right here we have Randy Gregory. As he's in this right defensive end position right there, this guy has done such a great job of just getting penetration, getting a rush involved. We know Tank Lawrence isn't there right now, and he's doing a great job of just simply picking up his game and becoming a natural force out there. He already has the great bend. He already has the strength, and I'm going to give you an example of that strength right here. As we have Randy Gregory, let's pause it right there. He does an amazing job. If you see right here, his angle, he's underneath this offensive tackle right there. He does a great job of using his arms as leverage. Let's play it a little bit. Use his arms as leverage and just annihilates. He just annihilates that offensive tackle right there. Let's run it back just so you can see it again. You rarely see people in the National Football League get dominated like that. Something must have got him mad out there. The offensive tackle must have said something about his family member or something, but he got through him like a hot knife through butter, and that's what Randy Gregory can do, and that's what he brings to this defense. It's a spark out there, and once Tank Lawrence gets back on the other side, this may be the best tandem in the National Football League as far as getting after the quarterback.
Wow, that's a bold statement from Barry Church. Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence, the best edge rushing duo in the National Football League.
Can't be.
Hey, he's definitely been playing up to that level. When we come back, can the Cowboys keep playing up to their level? Can they keep the momentum going when we return to Special Edition?
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Wrapping things up here on a bye-week edition of Special Edition from the Star in Frisco, alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and well, the Cowboys have won 5 consecutive games going into the bye week. You'd have to go way back to be able to see the last time that happened. The Cowboys on a 5-game win streak. They're expected to get a couple guys back against Minnesota, maybe a DeMarcus Lawrence further down the line, maybe Michael Gallup's back, Tristan Hill, Neville Gallimore, all unavailable the last couple of weeks. Well, now they look to try and continue their success, but how do they keep that momentum going after a week off?
I got 2 things for you. You got continued selflessness, all right, and then you also have to make sure that guys ignore the noise. All right, those are the 2 things that you have to make sure go on whenever your team is being very successful. You need guys to continue to play for everybody, right? Continue to be selfless. You don't need the praise. You need to go out there and make your plays and do the things that your team needs you to contribute to so that they can contribute to those victories. And then in terms of ignoring the noise, when victories come, when you have a great winning record, you're going to start hearing the media. The media is talking, right? You're getting text messages. Everybody's gassing you up. You start getting endorsement deals. You start feeling yourself. And then guess what? Then you stop being as much of a team player as you were before. Then you stop showing up and you stop studying the way you were before. Take the same approach you've been taking and continue to be successful.
Offensively, stay the same. All right, Kellen Moore, Dak Prescott, they've been in their bag. We got weapons on top of weapons. So as long as we stay healthy on that side of the ball, the momentum will keep rolling. Now, defensively, we got a couple chinks in our armor we showed against New England in that running game. So hopefully with, Neville Gallimore, Tristle Hill, and those guys coming back, we can assure that interior part of the defense. But continue this bend but don't break style of defense. Take the ball away, bend but don't break. It's worked so far this season. If we can do that, the momentum should be strong.
They have covered it all. Health, 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 and Zeke.
That's one way. Did you say Zeke?
Zeke.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Get the run game going. The Cowboys have been very strong in that regard, and they've been strong in a ton of different directions. Can they keep it going and keep this special start underway? Thanks so much for joining us here on Special Edition. We'll see you next week.